Hello guys, welcome to NumPy channel. My name is Nehemiah, and guys, I'm glad to have you on board. Now today we are going to discuss NumPy array iteration. This is lesson 9 on NumPy. But then before we start, if it's your first time to get into this channel, please consider subscribing, like and share the video to your friends. And that the returning subscribers, thank you very much for your continued support. Now talking about iterating arrays, what is iteration? Actually, iteration means going through elements one by one. Now, as we deal with multi-dimensional array in NumPy, we can do this using the basic for loop of Python. But if we iterate on one-dimensional array, it will go through each element one by one. So, guys, let me show you an example how to iterate on elements of a one-dimensional array. First of all, we import the module which is NumPy with the import keyword, and then now we import it as an alias np, and then we are going to create an object with variable a, or whichever variable you wish to use, and then np.array method. Then I'm gonna create a one-dimensional. Basically, I'm gonna create here a one-dimensional array, and then let me have a list like 1 2 3, perhaps 4 to 5, and then now I say that I use the for loop to do it, to iterate the elements in this one-dimensional array. So I'm gonna say for a in actually for let me say for x, because a is a variable already. For x in a, then colon, then here let me say print print x. Now to run it, guys, we use the run button, and then guys, I give it time to load. Then you can see that we have iterated this one-dimensional array, and you can see we have obtained each element in the array. Now let's talk about iterating the two-dimensional array. Now let me just copy this first line of code, and then now in this new cell, let me say what, let me create a variable. Perhaps let me use x, and then or let me just use any other variable. And then here let me create an object with np.array array method, and then I'm gonna create here a two-dimensional array, and then I say perhaps 1 2 to 3, and then also let me create another element here with another list. Let me say 4 5 6, and then to print it out, we use the for loop. So for x in y colon, then let me say print what, print y. But guys, before we print, remember here I had an error. It should be 1 colon, actually 1 comma. It will print an error if you use 2 commas there. Then to iterate this two-dimensional array, click on the run button, and then guys, you can see that we have done what we have iterated this two-dimensional array. But then if we iterate on any number of dimensional array, it will go through that number of dimensional array in the first dimension one by one. So if we want to return the actual values, the scalars, we have to iterate the arrays in each dimension. So in that case, I'll add also another for loop here. So let me say for what, for let me use perhaps z, for z in x, sorry, it should be x, y is x, for z in x, then a colon, Then now the print function will be here, so you say print what? Now it should be z, should be z, right? Then I click on the run button, and then I guess you can see that this way it will print each scalar element of this two-dimensional array. Now let's talk about iterating the three-dimensional array. Now guys, in a three-dimensional array, it will go through all the two dimensional array. So in that case guys, let me copy these codes, and then let me paste it in this new line of code. But then here I'm gonna use what? I'm gonna use basically three-dimensional array. So first of all, let me delete everything here, and then let me create a three-dimensional array here, and then let me say 1, perhaps 2, 3, and then also 1, 2, 3, and then in these other elements, so let me say perhaps 4. I should be 4 5 6, and then this is the first first two-dimensional array. So to the second one, I'm gonna use what? I'm gonna use two-dimensional array here again, and then I say what? Perhaps let me say 7 8 9, then comma, then the second element, the second element, let me say perhaps 10 11, then 12, and then now to the print function guys, let me just remove this this line of code. Then here let me add this print function here. Let me say print what? Print x, print x. So guys, it will iterate on the elements of this three-dimensional array. I think everything is okay. So click on the run button, and then guys, you can see that it has done what? It has iterated on the elements this three-dimensional array. And guys, remember to iterate all the elements in a three-dimensional array, we must specify all the arrays. So here I'm gonna use also another for loop for perhaps a in, because z is final, for a in y, for a in y, and then again let me use another for loop for b in a. Then the print function, let me say print what? Print b. I think everything is okay, because it is 4 3 loops, I think 1, and then this one I think is okay, b. So now to the run function, click on the run, and then guys, you can see that we have done what? We have printed out the elements in this we have iterated down to the scalars. And so guys, let's now discuss iteration of arrays using the nditer function. Now guys, this nditer function is a helping function that can be used from very basics to the very advanced of iteration. Now it solves some of the basic issues we face in iteration, and I'm gonna show you here an example. So first of all, I want us to iterate on each scalar elements. So guys, for example, in a basic for loop, iterating through each scalar of an array, we need to use the for, basically the whichever number, for example, number for loops with the for loops, which can be difficult to write for arrays with a very high dimension. You remember, like what we did here in this three-dimensional array. You can see it's kind of long a process. And so now to iterate it, this nditer function will help us to do that easily. Now let me show you an example, guys, that we iterate through the three-dimensional array. So here, instead of repeating myself, let me just remove these stuffs here, Then I'm gonna use the for loop here, for example x, for x in np dot I say that I'll use this function nditer function, and then here you specify what you specify the the object. It is y, right? So it is y. Now let me remove the indentation there, and then now you close with the colon. Then let me say print now it's x. Then click on the run, and then as you can see it has helped us to iterate it very quickly. And so guys, let's now discuss iterating arrays with the different data types. So guys, we can definitely use op_d type argument and pass it the expected data type to change the data type of the element while iterating. Now remember, NumPy does not change the data type of the element in place. That is where the element is in array, so it needs some of the other spaces to perform this action. And in order to enable it in this nditer function, we pass flags and equals to square brackets into a buffer. Let me show you an example, guys, for you to understand what I'm saying. Now for example, let's iterate array as a string. So first of all, we import the module np, then let me just paste it here, and then let me create a variable with the actually an object with variable a. Then let me use a one-dimensional array here, np dot array, and then let me create a list 1 2 and then a 3. So guys, I want us to iterate this one to as a string, to iterate it as a string. Now we use the same for loop for x in np dot array method, basically dot nditer. I say that we use the nditer function, nditer here, and then I'm gonna add some arguments here. So the first one is the object, our object, then a comma, then we also add this argument here. So let me say flags. We use this function here, flags equals to buffer, sorry, should be square brackets, buffer, should be buffer, right? Buffered, and then a comma. Also I said that I use also the op d type argument, so that it may help us to change the data type of the element while iterating. Op underscore d types, and then equals to string. And guys, I think you remember the symbol for string in this NumPy. To specify the data type string, it is capital S. Inside the quotations it should be capital S, and then now you do what, you close with a colon, then let me say print print now x. So guys, here it should be x, but then here it should be buffered. I forgot to add e, should be buffered. Then click on the run button, and then guys, you can see that I have done what we have converted into, we have iterated into as a string. Now let's talk about iterating with the different step size. And then guys, I want to show you how to iterate with a different step size. So guys, basically we can use filtering and followed by iteration. For example, I want to show you how to iterate through every scalar element of for example, a two-dimensional array, skipping one element. So guys, first of all, let me copy this line of code, and then let me just paste it here. And then here let me say let me create an object, an array here. So I'm going to use np dot array method. And then here I'm going to create here a two dimensional array, Then at the first I'm gonna use 1, for example 1 2 3, basically to 4. And then at the other element, let me say for example 5 6 7 7 8. And then now here to the for loop, let me say for x in np dot nd nditer, then create what, specify your object. And then here to skip some element, we use these are colon, this first one. And then because I want us to skip to what, to I want us to skip an element here. You must specify the element, then close, remember to close. And then do what, let me say print what, print for example print it should be x, right? Then I click on the run button. So guys, definitely this is how we can do it. This is how we can iterate with a different step size. So guys, let's now discuss enumerated iteration using the nd enumerate function. Now guys, the enumeration means mentioning sequence number of something one by one. Now sometimes we require corresponding index of of the elements while iterating. Now this nd enumerate method can be used for those use case. Now I want to show you here an example, guys, how to enumerate a one-dimensional array elements. So what I do, let me find the one-dimensional array. Where is it? Let me just copy this line of code, and then here in this cell let me paste it here. And then guys, in this for loop, let me say for, then you must specify this keyword here, idx comma x in for example np dot, you must specify now this method nd enumerate method. Then you must specify the object is a, then you do what, you close, we close. Then to the print function, now here you add the two arguments. The first one is idx, and then the second one is user x. Now to the print function, click first of all to the run. Then guys, you can see that we have enumerated and this one dimensional array elements. So guys, for example, let's try with a two-dimensional two-dimensional array elements. So where is the two? Here it is. Let me just copy this line of code. Let me just copy. Then here let me replace with what? Let me replace here with the with these are two-dimensional array. Let me just replace it here. And then anything to change? I think everything is now okay. Then I just click on the run button, and then I guess you can see that I have done what we have enumerated on this two-dimensional array. So guys, I think by now you understand how to iterate arrays in NumPy. So if you haven't understood, please rewind the video. And I want to end this video here. Please go ahead, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and then you can as well share the video to your friend, also like the video. And guys, until next time, this is Nehemiah. Goodbye.